We are Travis and Adelle Graham with The Noble Marriage, and we wanted to share with you a story from brokenness to restoration in our marriage.
We had the privilege of being interviewed by Focus on the Family. Our prayer is that through watching our story, that you hear something new for yourself and that you get healing and restoration in your life and in your marriage.
Hey, and welcome back to part 4 of our story, from brokenness to restoration.
And in part 3, we ended with I was sharing that I may never walk again. So let's go ahead and listen in to more of the story.
And I woke up one morning and was having excruciating pain going down my leg. I couldn't walk. I couldn't really even move. And come to find out, I had ruptured a disc that had pinched my nerve. And if I didn't have emergency surgery, I may never walk again. And I may never be able to work behind the chair again. And that is that's what my identity was really wrapped up in, is what I do. And so the men's hike that he's referring to was the same week of my major spine surgery. And I was so resentful about him going on this hike because it left me to really fend for myself. And I told you to go, but there was a lot of resentment there. Like, I didn't want you to leave. Mm-hmm. And so him coming home, and I saw it from the moment he walked in the door. He walked different. You had a brightness in your eyes that I had never seen before, a smile that I had never seen before. And he shared with me like what he really got on that mountain. And I was just like, my heart was falling in love with him as he was sharing that story. And I'm so grateful for that, because I went into depression after that. It was a long recovery for my spine and not being able to work and having a lot of guilt about that. And that our relationship was the one thing I was able to like really have a lot of hope in as I was working through my own identity. And I just love how God works, because he was stripping away the things that he knew were going to hold me back. And my career was one of them. And so we spent the next 6 months like falling in love together and just really diving into like, what is a healthy marriage and what does this look like for us?
And that was so pivotal.
It was. And do you want to share, like, you still had some things going on for you, because I didn't know about a lot of things that you had not shared with me.
Yeah.
And
I desperately wanted to. Like, I wanted to share with you my addiction to porn. I wanted to share with you my unfaithfulness, and I had no idea how to do that.
Yeah.
No idea how to bring that up, because it was really important to me to get clear of those things that were in my past.
Yeah. And so it was in October when I was on Facebook. It was actually on our anniversary.
Our 12-year anniversary.
And I wrote this post about you and how loyal you are, and a comment showed up that scared me. And I remember looking up at you and just saying, what is this?
Maybe you can relate to what I was going through, that my identity, like who I saw myself as, was all wrapped up in what I did for a living. I was a talented hairstylist at the time and had been doing hair for my whole career. And when I realized that I may never be able to work behind the chair again, it sent me into a deep depression. I didn't even know who I was. I was created to help others feel beautiful in their life through their hair. And if I can't do that, what purpose do I have? Why am I even here? And I see now the Lord was identifying areas in my life that I was holding as a priority over other things that were more important in my life. and that I am not what I do. I am who God says I am. And when I find my identity in Christ and root myself in that, it's incredible how my life started to take a major shift. Because when I tried to go back behind the chair and was unsuccessful, and it really hit me that this was my life now. This was my life, was not going to be able to make others feel beautiful. And I had to find, well, what is my purpose? Who am I? And I started to realize that there were some really important people in my life, that my career was more important. Specifically, Travis and my daughter, Haven. You know, I would work until 9 o'clock at night, most nights. I wasn't home for Haven. I wasn't home for you. And I had a desire and a need to be successful. I'm a 3 on the Enneagram. So for my 3s out there, I'm sure you can identify that this is also something you may be struggling with, is really seeing yourself as what you do. And you know, it was just a really tall ladder that I never got to the top. I just had to keep climbing and climbing and climbing, trying to get the golden carrot that really didn't exist.
Success for you was somewhere out here that was elusive, and your success has something to do with this identity of hairstylist.
Right.
And you never could get there.
Right. And, you know, it still didn't fully get my attention because I engulfed myself in, well, I'm a salon owner. If I can't be a hairstylist, I will be the best salon owner that I can be. I will have the most successful salon out there. And I accomplished that. And it still was not my identity. And the Lord still needed to teach me more lessons to come.
I imagine in the audience that would be listening to this, a good bit of you are going to be able to relate to maybe something else other than God shows you who your identity is. Maybe it's a sorority, or maybe it's a school, or maybe it's the military or a branch of the military. Or, you know, for me, it was my identity was law enforcement. And if I couldn't be that, then I was no one. And yours is a hairstylist. And I imagine yours may be something else. Your identity may be wrapped up in something that it may be making you very ineffective in your life when your identity is wrapped up in lies. Because that's what it is. It's not true. Because that's not who you are. That's not what your identity is. That's not what your purpose in life is. And anytime we have an identity and purpose that's away from God's will from us, we're going to always feel depleted, not good enough, not able to accomplish what it is we want to accomplish because we're not meant to be there.
Right.
It's not meant to be.
I've also found it so interesting that my core fear was I'm not good enough. And I engulfed myself in my career to prove that I'm good enough. When in the end, it made me feel the most not good enough of anything else.
Right.
It really was so destructive. And I was building my life and my identity around a core fear that I just didn't want to be there. So I created a life that would help me not feel that way.
Yeah, and you may resonate with that too. Another thing you may resonate is I mentioned in there secrets. I mentioned in the beginning of 2018, I found Christ. Now, I knew Christ before. I had a head knowledge of who Jesus Christ is and a great person that he is, but I didn't have a heart knowledge. I didn't accept it into my heart that he's for me. And I really got that. And then through that year of 2018, I had this wrestling going on of I'm a new man. I'm a new creation in Christ. And I've got these secrets over here. I know I've got to get rid of those secrets. I know I've got to speak those things out because they are making me so sick. Secrets make you sick. And that's what was happening to me. And so I wanted desperately, Adele, to share with you, man, I have been unfaithful. I have all these problems in my past, and I just want to share them with you so that I can get them out from me and we can get on healing. But I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to share that. And so, as you can hear in the video, I didn't. I tried to figure out ways to do it, and I didn't do it. And so instead of disclosure, which would have been so much better for our relationship, better for our healing, better for your heart, if there was going to be a better of that. Disclosure would be so much better than discovery, which is what ended up happening. Discovery is painful. Well, all of it's painful. Discovery is way more painful than disclosure.
Destructive.
It's very destructive. And I'm curious, how would you have seen the difference, if you have that ability to say so, between me coming to you and sharing authentically, hey, this is what's been going on for me, versus you just finding out and approaching me?
Yeah, it's all painful, like you said. None of it is easy. None of it is exciting to hear. It hurts. However, what I found is that the discovery side of betrayal is so much more destructive to the person's heart, to other people's hearts. There's a much larger ripple effect when discovery happens. And ours was public. It was on Facebook, and it was humiliating and embarrassing. And I was just horrified because it sat on Facebook for probably 12 hours before I knew it was there. And, if you would have come to me and disclosed, I realized that that's hard. Like, I really can get now the challenge in doing that you really do love me and you don't want to hurt me, and you have, and you know that what you're going to share is going to devastate me. And I realized the pain in that. And what I want you to know, if you have betrayed your spouse, telling them and them hearing it from you is the number one way to be honest.
It actually builds trust to
does.
have disclosure, versus discovery takes away trust.
Oh, it's so much deeper of a wound because now there's lies and secrecy, and I caught you. And are you sorry because you got caught? Like, are you really remorseful? Because if you were remorseful, you would have told me.
Yeah.
And it's tough. It is so challenging. Couples that are walking through this is such a tough journey. Disclosure is so much better than discovery. The other thing I want to mention is that the marriage cannot have healing. It cannot have true healing until all the secrets are out. Because here's why. Until you are completely transparent, this is everything, you know it all, you're standing on an unsteady foundation. Because the enemy wants nothing more than for you to keep this open back door that nobody knows about. We'll just keep that hidden, because if I have to tell her or if I have to tell him, it's going to be worse. It's going to hurt them more. And yes, it will. But I promise you that if they find out about the open door that you've kept secrets in, it is far more destructive than you sharing and being transparent. And so I encourage you, don't do what happened in our relationship. Share transparently with your spouse. Get all of the things out into the light, because only then, when two hearts are willing, the Lord can work a miracle in your relationship. But as long as there are secrets, the enemy has an open door to destroy your marriage in all kinds of ways. And it's really up to you. You have a choice.
Yeah, I've been asked, Adelle, how do I share my secrets? And Travis, if you had to do it again, what would you do differently to share, to have disclosure over discovery? And I think it's a great question. And you may be asking the same thing too. You may have secrets that are making you sick. And you're like, oh, this shame is hurting me. This intense guilt and shame is just keeping me so ineffective in my family as a leader. And I just want to share this. Here's what I recommend. I recommend going to a trusted counselor, someone who has the ability to walk through this with you, someone who loves you, someone who loves Jesus, and share with them everything that you need to share. And then include them and say, hey, help me. Hey, come on my team. Help me share this with my spouse. How do I do that? How do I do the next steps? Reach out to us. Adelle and I would love to walk through that with you as well. The important thing is to get rid of the secrets. Secrets make you sick. They need to be shared. Healing in your marriage is important. Having that disclosure versus the discovery so that you can be free of that.
So, what is the Lord prompting you to do? Maybe He's prompting you to look at what your identity is wrapped up in. Or maybe He's prompting you that it's time to be transparent with your spouse and share the things that are in your past so that healing and restoration can take place. What is He saying to you? I encourage you to take that next step and bring the people into your life that can help you walk that journey.
And thank you for watching these videos. It really means a lot to Adele and I that you come back every week and watch these, that you subscribe, that you like the video. We really want to hear your comments too. What are you getting out of this? What is it, maybe some new ideas that you have that we haven't shared?
Maybe you have questions about our story, things we didn't touch on. We would love to expand in whatever ways that we can so that you can get the answers and the healing that you need. We would love for you to share it with someone because you never know the kind of difference that it could make for them. So please share our story with others so that more marriages and lives can be impacted and healing can begin.
Thanks for watching this. We'll see you next week for part 5.